Three Egyptian development initiatives projects were successfully included on the UN Best Practices platform for achieving international goals. Minister of Planning and Economic Development Hala Said said that the ministry has succeeded for the second time in having three Egyptian initiatives included on the UN's Best Practices that achieve the Sustainable Development Goals platform. The platform was set up by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. The three initiatives include the Pioneers 2030 project, the development program in Upper Egypt, and the integrated system for the preparation and follow-up of the investment plan. Said added that the projects listed were chosen based on several considerations, which are to highlight the efforts of the government in achieving sustainable development. It also serves to highlight that each initiative covers more than one of the UN's goals, or list focusing on the initiatives concerned with the neediest groups. This is in addition to the initiatives which have achieved tangible results on the ground and positively affected the lives of citizens, among which is the initiative of Your Work in Your Village. The initiative helps to provide job opportunities for youth and women. Concerning the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development's RUWED 2030 project, it aims to build an integrated and comprehensive ecosystem for entrepreneurship to enable young people create their own projects. This in turn contributes to consolidating the role of entrepreneurship in the development of the national economy through the implementation of the four pillars of the project. These pillars are education and training, awareness on campaigns on entrepreneurship and business incubators, capacity building for government officials, and the RUWED 2030 project approach. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and continuing our discussion with Engineer Hassan now. Sir, talking about all these social protection initiatives and programs, and we're talking about how it's a governmental effort, non-governmental organizations, private sector, foreign investors as well. Now, Egypt ranked the third among Arab countries in terms of direct foreign investment, amounting to $5.4 billion for the year 2021. 50 companies, 58 projects, providing 9,000 job opportunities. Now, how are all these sort of companies and projects helping in initiatives such as Mashru'ak, your business, or your work in your village? You've mentioned how we need to develop or encourage or really train peoples and citizens living in the villages on working and starting their own business and really staying and sticking to their own countryside and village and help it develop and flourish. How much is this a foreign direct investment sort of opportunity, and is it also just the work, or is it just the work of the government and the training centers?
Well, I think we should actually make it easy for the foreign investors actually to come and establish new communities in the desert. I know for sure that there is a lot of very promising areas like the west of Minya, which is a very fertile area, and I think a lot of studies were made to turn this particular area, I mean it's 500,000 faddans actually, which is a very large area, and actually this on its own could accommodate not less than 5 million population. The population in the, if the villages were developed to accommodate the farmers that will work in these areas in raising cattle, dairy products, all the activities, you know. Actually, in this particular area, especially, there is a huge plant actually being constructed right now to produce sugar. And I think the government should definitely work hard to try to promote what we have, put it on the table in front of the investors, and make the red tape easier to attract the investors and coordinate with the investors. What should the investor do to close a gap, fill a gap in our economy, instead of exporting, as I said, the raw materials outside? We should actually have an industry locally to utilize the manpower that we have. So just attracting the investors should not be haphazardly. It should actually work to, as I said, to close the gap between importing and exporting. We have a lot of chances to improve this situation, but we need to move fast, actually. Indeed, in the last 8 years, we were working very hard, but you need to make it up for the last 40 years or 50 years. We've wasted a lot of time, and we have a big problem, which is the explosion of the population.
Yes.
Population, no matter what you do with this escalating population, it's going to be always a problem unless your development rate is faster than this population increase rate. So I think we have very good chances if we speak the right language and talk to the right investors and consider what is bleeding our economy, what are the things that actually consume the foreign currency that we have. We should actually try to fill this gap. I think what's happening right now, the central bank is making certain rules right now and tightening up the importation of a lot of items. I think I know why they're doing this, to try to hold for the hard currency as a reserve for strategic goods. But again, we need also to convince investors to come and invest in Egypt and fill certain gaps that we have in our industrial activities.
Yes. Engineer Shabaan, you've mentioned earlier that an initiative such as the Decent Life Initiative targets a bit less than 5,000 villages all over the country. Now, if all these villages in the countryside, you've mentioned that each village can be distinct in a certain aspect in terms of industry or cultural or manufacturing. Now, these businesses, the initiative, Your Job in Your Village, encourages people to work within their own villages. Now, another industry, which is the mashruak, and it really works on the government allocating about 2.2, yes, the micro loans for 2.2 billion pounds, targeting 12,400 micro businesses, providing thousands of job opportunities. Now, which would be better for the citizens living in the countryside? Helping them establish their own businesses, or training them to work more efficiently in existing industries?
I think we should go in two parallel lines, actually. Not either that or that. Training the young people in the countryside, utilizing the cooperative agricultural system that we have in training the young people to say if a village is famous of spinning and weaving, for instance, like Akhmim,
yes,
we should encourage that and improve the working conditions and train the young people. In Fayoum, you have the very good chances to improve clay arts and so forth. Each village in Egypt and each area in Egypt have its own characteristics. So if you actually upgrade and improve the working conditions and train people, definitely this will improve the situation a bit. We could actually export a lot of our handmade goods. I think we need to exert more effort in this particular field. The government should, you know, pay more attention to train people. In the past, we used to have training programs in Ministry of Agriculture. And experts, foreign experts actually were there. And I think we gained a lot, you know, from these programs.
Yes.
I think if we actually have agreements again with certain firms abroad to train our farmers in the different villages, it will be very beneficial to us actually.
Yes. And how can we ensure as well that with all of this development work taking place for the benefit of the Egyptian citizens, that people such as the youth, the women, people with special needs, they have an equal benefits and be beneficiaries in parallel with all these investments?
I think with the efforts of the government digitalizing everything, we have the data right now, we have the information very much in a very accurate way. I think with the statistics we have and the numbers, I think the government will be able to help all these sectors actually.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Engineer Hassan Shabaan has mentioned, it is a tough time, not just in Egypt, but throughout the whole world. But Egypt is going on with its initiatives, the governmental, non-governmental organizations, the private sector, the direct foreign investment. Egypt is working on all fronts to help sustain and raise the living standards of the Egyptian citizens. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, the Engineer Hassan Shabaan, the political and economic expert. Engineer Shabaan, always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.